Hi Stampers, Diane Divich here with ddStamps.com. Oh, hi Karen, I'm glad you made it. Cool. If you're out there, go ahead and give me a hello. I'm hoping that I'm live on both Facebook and YouTube. We'll see if it works. Anyway, I'm excited about tonight. I've got my tutorial for the month to show you. Let me adjust my camera there a little bit. And anything else? I don't know, I've got a couple of different projects to show you too. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera over. All right, so tonight what we're using is the Homemade Sweetness Suite. And this is an online exclusive with Stampin' Up, and it's been a lot of fun. Like I said, I made a whole bunch of cards. I will find them all and show them to you. But let me show you the paper. We'll start with showing the paper because it's really pretty. It's cute. I don't know if you can see these, but they're little tiny ladybugs. It's cute. I love the check. I love the flowers. And all the little jars. I did do some fussy cutting tonight. I love the notebook paper. I haven't made anything with it yet, but I will. All right, so that is the designer series paper. This is the stamp set that we're using. So it's the Filled with Sweetness stamp set and then the dies. And I wanted to show the dies. I should have cut them out, but a lot of them I'm using. But this one here, this huge one here, actually cuts out for this big jar. And then it's got a score line in it so that you can actually make cards. And I'll show you what I did with those. Now tonight, what I did is I cut out a lot of the die cuts that I need already. I got to get a big block. Actually, I think I'll use the stamp positioner for that. Anyway, so I will go ahead. We're using this stamp set tonight. And like I said, this is my tutorial for April. And I'm going to show you the cards tonight that I'm making. I'm going to walk through them. So this is the first card I'm going to show you. And as I said, I did do a bunch of the cutting out of stuff before I got started here. But I wanted to show you this because this was on the edge of one of the pieces of designer series paper and I didn't want to waste it. So I'm just going to use it, but I'm going to put the little honey bear probably behind some of the jars in the card. So it'll look a little different, but you'll see. All right, so I am using Misty Moonlight cardstock here. In fact, I should tell you the colors that coordinate with this paper pack. Let me grab the, yeah, so it's Calypso Coral, Crushed Curry, Granny Apple Green, Misty Moonlight, Secret Sea, and Strawberry Slush. So lots of, oh, looks like somebody's trying to call me. Hi, Linda. Hopefully my phone keeps working tonight. I've got it on Do Not Disturb in the hopes that it doesn't go blurry. All right, so let me grab some adhesive. I've cut this piece of cardstock. So this is the Spoons designer series paper, and I'm just going to do a layer right over the top of that piece of Misty Moonlight, and then I'm going to use a strip of the backside of the spoons and add some of these little hearts right along kind of the middle. As you know, I don't measure anything, so it's kind of the middle for me. All right, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ribbon. Oh, I didn't show you the ribbon. So this is the ribbon. It's really cute. Gingham ribbon. And what I'm doing is I'm doing a bow across the whole cardstock. And when I do that, I measure out 4 lengths of the card, and that should give me enough ribbon for a bow. If I was just going to do a knot, I would have done 3 lengths of the card. And so I love that measurement to remember it that way because it's easy. And then, like I said, I'm going to tie this into a bow, and I'm not going to have a whole lot of waste. It's going to be just, there we go, a little bit. I can trim these up a little bit. So there's my card base. Love those colors together. This is Misty Moonlight, and that's the ink pad I'm using tonight is only Misty Moonlight. But I do love the looks of it. All right, so then I'm just going to kind of lay these out where I want them. And one of the things that I wanted to do was this little bear. I cut the bear, but I don't have the bottom of him, his feet. So I'll probably put something right in front of him. So he'll still be in my little stockpile here of I think I'm going to change this out. I don't want those two yellows to be together. So we're going to kind of really change this up. We'll put that jar there, and this one can go right behind. I think it could actually go down there. Anyway, something like that is what I'm going to do. So what I did with this particular one is this one and this one are definitely going to be on dimensionals. So I'll just go ahead and place my little orange marmalade there, pop my bear on, adhere my lemon curd, and then add this. Let me grab some dimensionals. I'm going to use up my edges. I like to use all my edges of my dimensionals, so that's what I'm going to use a lot of tonight. We're going to put this strawberry down here. And then this little jar of cherry jam, we're going to pop right in front of that bear. So I'm using up those pieces of the paper that are on the edges. So remember that. And then on this, we are going to stamp. Let me pull the stamps out here. And pull out the thank you and this little squirrely thing. All right, so we're going to stamp the thank you first. I'm using Misty Moonlight, and I do believe tonight the only ink that I'm using is Misty Moonlight. I am using some blends. I've got them over here. I'll talk about that when we get to that part. But on this one, we're going to put the thank you up towards the top of this scallop label, and this label came right out of the dies for this particular set. And then I'm going to put this little squirrely doodad on there and stamp that. And then once I've done that, I'm just going to flip this over and add some dimensionals to the back of this and add it to my card base. And there's the first card. Fast and easy because I did all the cutting beforehand, but really these were super easy to cut out, all those jars. All right, there's card number one. Now what I would do with my card, and I will send in the kits that I send when you'll get this tutorial for free with any order that you place with me, and then I send off kits for you to do the cards, and I'll send off a piece for the inside of your card too, where you could stamp it, and then I would cut out some more pieces and put it on the inside of that. All right, card number one is done. Card number two. Oh, this one has lots of pieces. All right, so I cut out lots of pieces. So this is the die for the jar top. Got some designer series paper. Here's the actual card that we're making. So I used, again, I cut out some of the little jars, but then I've used dies also in there. So it's kind of a combination. Let me show you the dies because this is kind of goofy, but these little flowers, I cut them out in basic white. I'm going to use, I think, 3 of them. And then I cut out the flower again, which I have over here, that I just hung on to, and then the middles. And so I'm actually going to put these middles inside those flowers. So let's hope I can do it. All right, so let's start with the card base. So the card base is a piece of basic white thick. We're going to go ahead and fold it in half. We're going to attach our designer series paper, and I now see that I took the piece that I cut for this and put it away. I'll have to pull it out. Hopefully I didn't use it on something else. So this is going to go at the bottom, and basically what I do is try to get a even frame around that. Let me see if I can find that piece. Oh, here. Is this it? Yeah. Okay. So this is another piece I cut of the designer series paper. We're using the blue side. And this one, Oh no, it's not the right cut. Let me trim this down. This isn't actually the piece that I was looking for, but it'll work. If I can get, there we go. All right, so this is gonna go at the top here, and we're gonna leave that frame. And then across the bottom here, I actually used the lid. This is like the lid for the jar, but I only wanna use, I'm gonna cut it, because I just wanted this ruffly edge to be on my piece of cardstock. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my adhesive, and it was just another way to use the same dies. We're gonna add that on there. Then we're gonna take this little tag. Hi, Vanessa, glad you made it. Susan's here, cool. Is anybody here from Facebook? I just wondered if if I actually was showing up on Facebook. So this is another label that is in that stamp set. It's kind of fun because it has the edge on it and the hole in it, but I'm actually going to use it just as a label. So this is going to get added. My Midnight Mist or Misty Moonlight ink pad is so juicy, it's unbelievable. And so I'm just going to add that onto there. So I still want the edge of that ruffle to show. And then I've got these 3 pieces that I cut out that I'm going to place on my card. And they're different jars than the ones that I have on here because I just picked what was close to the edge. We'll do that one, and we'll do this one. And then this little piece we're going to put on with a dimensional. And I just like to do a little bit of dimensional just to give it a little bit of oomph. Oh, okay, so Lisa was on Facebook, but she said it comes through better on YouTube. That's good. I also have it on my website, if anybody's on my website. However, I cannot see the comments until after I'm done on my website. I haven't figured out yet how to do it all. My internet's not the best sometimes, and so I don't want to have too many things open. The other thing is that we had a big storm just come through. Okay, so I'm just putting adhesive on these flowers where I want them. And then this third one I'm going to put on with a dimensional. Let me grab a little one. I'll put that right in the middle of where that hole is. I'll watch for comments kind of too if I see. And this one's going to go here. Now this one already has adhesive in it. And so if we take these little dots from the inside, and I know it seems kind of goofy, but it sure makes it a cute project. And I'm just going to place that right in the middle of that flower. Now I can do the same thing. I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive. If I can get this to come out. Not that one. Try this one. Oh, there we go. So just a little dot of the liquid glue, and then I'm going to add my yellow insides. The other thing you could do is if you didn't want to do this fussiness of this, you could actually put an embellishment in there. Let's see if I can get that one in. Come on, go in the hole. Perfect. All right. So there is card number 2. Now, one of the things that I did, you can see where this little piece of that ruffle comes over the edge of that designer series paper. I just got right in there and snipped it so that it was flush with that piece of designer series paper. I just thought it looked better. So there's card number 2. So this is actually not, I haven't done a bunch of stamping. Now I'm going to do stamping on the next cards. That was all paper. Let's save that one. So the next card we're going to do is this one. I've got some pieces here. And so I've got my designer series paper cut. I've got some my label cut and a couple of die cuts for my strawberries. But first I want to show you how I did this card. So this is one, it's called a fun fold. Just opens up. I would put a piece of, again, basic white cardstock on the inside, the same size as this designer series paper. And on my tutorial, all those measurements are there. I believe it's 3 3/4 by 4. Let me show you how I did this one. I'll move this stuff for a minute. All right, so here's my Misty Moonlight paper. And then I'm going to take my trimmer. I'm going to move this out of the way before I get that all over my trimmer. All right, so I have it folded. I'm going to cut at 1.5 inches. Yeah, 1.5 inches. We're going to cut up from the score line here down. And then we're going to put adhesive on that section. Oh, I did a terrible job scoring that. You see where I screwed that up? All right, let's start over. I must have scored that like, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. Let me grab another piece of cardstock. I don't know how I got it off so bad. But hey, we all make mistakes. All right, so you're cutting your cardstock in half at 5.5. And then we're churning it and we're scoring at 4 1/4. Make sure I use the scoring blade. And then I'm going to flip it at 1.5. And my score line is right here. I want to use the cutter. So I'm going to go right to where my score line is across here and cut down. Now we've got it right. You know, when I cut that line the first time, I was like, the measurement didn't seem right. It wasn't. All right, so that's how you make the card base. It's super easy, but it looks cool. And then we're going to add our paper. So we'll add this piece on this little section here. And this piece here is going to go on this section here. And again, I'm just putting it on there so that I have a frame that's close all the way around. And then I'm going to come in with, I suppose I could put the card here, the ribbon. Again, we're going to flip this. We're going to tie the ribbon in a bow. So we're going to go 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I was doing a knot, I would just do 3. And then you're going to tie this around. Nice thing about tying it around like this is that once I get that bow tied, I can just move it where I want it. And then I'm going to go ahead and just trim up the edges, but you can see how I don't waste a lot of ribbon when I do it that way. So there's my card base ready to go. Now, I've got these die cuts already cut for myself. I wanted to talk a little bit about this, the strawberries. So one of the things that I like to do is sometimes I cut my dies first and then I stamp them, because then I don't have to tape it down and deal with all the whole thing of lining it up. This way, I have to line it up still. I just have to line the stamp up. So I'll take this strawberry, and as long as it's on a dark surface, I can actually see where that die is, and I can look straight down through and line it up and stamp it and get my dies. And that may not be perfect, but they're just as good as they'd be if I stamped them first and then die cut them. So just another way to do it. And you see that I used the Misty Moonlight for the ink. And the nice thing about the classic ink is that you can use your blends with any of our classic inks. And so by using it with this dark blue, it just gives it a different look. It doesn't always have to be black. All right, so I'm going to take my strawberry slush light, and I'm going to go ahead and fill in this strawberry. I'm just going to go ahead and fill it all in. And then I'm going to take the dark, and it would be darker up here, up where the stem is, would have a shadow. And then I'm going to bring it down on this side a little bit darker. And then if I want, I can go back in and blend in just a little bit more of the light to just take away that harsh line. And that gets you your strawberry. So I'm going to do the same thing with Granny Apple Green. I'm going to use the Granny Apple Green light. And then come in with the Granny Apple Green dark and just do a little bit of highlighting of color. And then come back in with the light. So just to blend out those harsh lines. And there's one strawberry done. I could do the same thing. I could do, this is light. So I could do you can start with the dark and go with the light. I don't know. I always tend to go with the light and then to the darks. I'm not really sure why. I think I see a question. Oh, all right. And then I'll just add in a little bit of the Granny Apple Dark just to give it a little bit of shading. Come back in with the light. And then we'll do the same thing with this strawberry. I do love the blends for coloring. They're really fun, and your coloring looks so good, and it's not hard. So again, I'm just going to do a little bit of a darker shadow underneath where the stems are, and then just come down this side. It's like the light's coming in from this side. And then go back in with my light and just do a little bit of blending. And there's strawberry number 2. All right, so then we have to do the words. Let me grab the stamp here. I love these labels. So these labels are in the dies, and there's lots of fun labels and shapes that you can use. So there's that. And then we are going to just put this together, and it's super easy, super quick. And we'll have one strawberry that goes on with just adhesive, and then I'll put one on with a dimensional. And there is card number 3. It's going to be a fast one tonight. But I do, like I said, I do have more to show you after this. So there's card number 3. If anybody has any questions, ask. All right, so this next one I don't have a sample of, so we're just punting. The tutorial is done. So anyway, we're taking a piece of the basic white cardstock. And beforehand, I embossed this piece. I don't know if you can see that. But I went through some of my stuff today to see what Stampin' Up! Was getting ready to clearance out, and found that this was one of the embossing folders. There's a whole bunch of my embossing folders that are on the last chance list. The last chance list yesterday was posted, and oh my goodness, there's so many good things. So you might want to check that out. One of the things, there are a couple of things on there that I think everybody should have, and one of them is the branch. Let me go grab it. What did I do with it? The branching out dies. They're some of my favorites, and I use them a lot. Anyway, so I just put that embossing on there, and again, I have that border around there. So yeah, the branching out dies are gone. We're going to do a couple of the same things here. So here's the label. Here's the dies I've already cut. Now these are interesting dies. they just do like a string with a bow. It's 2 different dies. And then this is the piece that is like the cover on the jar. I'm going to use the whole piece this time. And then this is the jar. So let me move these out of my way. Because this jar is so big, I'm actually going to use my stamp positioning tool to line this up with. And I want to stamp on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and place my magnets so that can hold that piece of paper. I think what I'm going to do though is I'm going to line it up on this 5-inch line here. I'm just picking a line so that my paper doesn't move if I have to line it up again. All right, so I got my stamp positioner. I'm going to get that big old stamp, and it's a big one, and we're going to lay it on my jar where I want it. Like I said, you could stamp this and then cut it out, but I really find it easier to cut it out and then stamp it. So pick that up. Make sure it didn't move. We're going to ink it up with the Misty Moonlight, and then we're going to stamp it down. And until I press down, that has not touched the paper. So the minute I press it down, it has now touched the paper, and you can see the image stamped. Now if I had missed a place, like I kind of missed right there, I can go ahead and line that back up and stamp that one corner, and that brings back that. If you wanted it darker, you could stamp it again. So that's the nice thing about the stamp positioning tool. And the stamp positioning tool will be available in the new catalog, which I'm preparing to get sent out. So if you haven't told me yet that you want a catalog, let me know, because I am putting everything together to go out soon. There is a lot. I have a lot of people that signed up, so I'll get those sent out. Probably, I'm still waiting for a big batch of catalogs to show up. I got one batch I needed to order 2 more batches. All right, so I just added that topper on there. And then take these pieces that look like string. I'm just going to add a little bit of this mono adhesive. Now, I could have used adhesive sheets, which would have been great because it would have stuck better. But I have grown to like the mono because I can really control how much I put on there, and that doesn't need a ton. So there's that. You can see how this card comes together. Then we have this piece, which I'm going to stamp with this. Ink that up in the Misty. Attach this label onto my card. And then I got to stamp a strawberry and a blueberry. We'll do the strawberry. Ooh, that one did it really good. I got that right where I wanted it. And then we'll do the blueberries. That one's pretty good too. I'm pretty proud of myself. All right. Again, we're just going to go ahead and color the strawberry exactly the same way. We're using the Strawberry Slush blends with the Strawberry Slush cardstock. Strawberry Slush is a color that I believe, yeah, this is a color that is going, let me check. Oh no, Strawberry Slush is going to be around. The colors that are going out are like Petunia Pop. I'll show you. So if you want stuff in that, I noticed yesterday things were starting to sell out of the in colors that are retiring at the end of this month. I'll just go ahead and, there we go. We'll do the, okay, I'm going to start dark this time. So I'm going to just do some dark on the leaves, and then I'm going to come in with the light. So you can just do either one. And then blend it in a little bit. Another thing I'll tell you is you can layer your blends. So like I could do the dark granny apple green, and then as soon as it got dry, go back in with a little bit more dark granny green, and it'll take it a shade darker. So you can like layer it on top of each other. So this is Blueberry Bushel. We'll start with the light. And this is one of those colors I've had for a while, and I rarely use it, but it's really a pretty color. All right, then I'm going to come in with the dark. I'm going to highlight a little bit darker down here, a little down here, and then this little star thing. And there's our blueberries. Fast and easy. So we will add the strawberry, and then add the blueberries with, look at it. How do I get so much ink on me? Add some blueberries on there. And then I could actually cut this off and just attach it to my card front and have two. I think I might do that. So when I cut this out, I could have just, instead of folding it at the score line, I could have just cut it at the score line. Gives you two cards for one, 2 for 1. And then we're just going to add this piece right onto my card base. So that is card number 4. Yay! That is the tutorial. Now I'm going to show you some other stuff that I made with this. Here's a couple cards I did. That same technique with the cutting it down the side, just using different papers and different embellishments. So you can see how you can get different looks. I like that. And then I have to show you these because these turned out really cute. So these I made, these are all cards that are basically the same, and I cut out a piece with the die for the inside, but I wanted to show you the fruit. So let me show you the stamp set this is the stamp set that you can purchase. It's a bundle. But I haven't used this stamp set at all. I've only used these dies. But they're kind of fun. So there's a whole bunch of fruits, and then some files for like a recipe card file, which would be kind of fun to do a book on. But let me show you the projects I made. Because like on these peaches, I used our two-tone cardstock. So this is the two-tone in Calypso Coral, where I cut the inside in the lighter and the rind and the inside of the peach in the darker. I actually embossed these. I don't know if you can see that, but I just used a clear embossing powder and a Versamark pad. And then of course did my envelopes, but I love this little ladybug paper. Again, I turned those peaches into apples with this one. Same thing, use the two-tone cardstock. You can see that one apple is darker than this one just because I used both sides. I like the two-tone cardstock. I was kind of having fun with that. And then of course did a matching envelope. This one I did a berry and a blueberry using the two-tone cardstock. These were all made exactly the same. They were all embossed with Versamark. So you can see how you get that shiny look. And the insides were all done. And I did the envelopes. I think I'm going to give these to my neighbor because she's a canner. Well, actually her husband is, so I'll give them to him. But this strawberry turned out cute with the two-tone cardstock. So you get the strawberry slush and then the strawberry slush light on the back. And then I changed this into a lemon. So you could do it, I mean, it could be a grapefruit, it could be an orange, it could be a lemon, it could be a lime. Lots of fun stuff. I love these cards. Those were fun. All right. I think we're getting close, ladies and gentlemen. I will tell you that I'm sending out quite a few emails lately because I'm having people sign up for, having people sign up for the In Color Club. That started yesterday. So if you're interested in that, sign up for my newsletter. It's also on my website, I believe. I think I posted it up there. But the In Color Club is a great way to get all the new In Colors starting in May for 5 months. Some people are actually doing it in a 1-month purchase. Thanks, Linda. And then I think tomorrow my paper share information goes out. So I'll be doing a paper share with all the new designer series paper that are in the catalog. Lots of fun stuff. So I want to show you one more project that I did. So this month's Create With Me project is this little gift box with cards using the Delicate Whispers paper. You can see the copper in there. See that? It's so pretty. And the stamp set. So Create With Me Club is a monthly club that I do, and you get to make 2 of each card with envelopes. I send you a half a pack of designer series paper, a full pack of embellishments, a package of ribbon, and then all the supplies to make the cards. And so like with these everyday arches, I'll cut those for you. You don't have to have that. What you do need is the Delicate Whispers stamp set so that you can do the stamping. And then I have a list of products that you probably need, such as blends, ink pads. I send that out so that you know. But those are my cards, and I did all the insides. Did I do the inside? Yeah, I did the inside of that one. So if you're interested, check that out too. It's on my website at www.ddistamps.com. Lots of information on there. Okay, now I think I'm done. I'm not going to be on next week because I'm headed to Mexico on Saturday for a vacation. And I'll have my phone and I'll have probably have my laptop in case anybody has any questions. But other than that, I'll see you in 2 weeks when I get back. And I'll have some great projects. Maybe some of the fun new stuff. I've been making stuff with the new stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. If nobody has any questions, I'm going to say good night. Thank you for coming. I will speak with you soon. See you later. Bye.